My beloved child, before you close this video or let your mind wander for even a second, pause right here and breathe, because what I am about to reveal connects directly to the title you just read. Pack your bags because your address has been found by a woman, and this is not about fear, not about chaos, not about something negative approaching your door. It is about destiny recognizing your location. It is about a heart that searched, doubted, hesitated, and finally found you. Don't skip this moment. Something huge is waiting for you, and the beginning of it starts now. There is a woman who did not stumble upon you by accident. She did not randomly discover your name or location as a coincidence drifting in the wind. She searched in silence. She wondered in private. She questioned her own intuition. And then one day, in a way that even surprised her, your address became more than just a place on a map. It became a destination. Not because of walls or streets or numbers on a door, but because of the energy that surrounds you. Stay till the end, because this is deeper than you think. You may not even realize how visible you have become. Not in a loud, dramatic way. Not in a way that shouts for attention. But in a subtle, magnetic way that pulls certain souls closer without effort. She felt it before she understood it. A quiet curiosity. A gentle pull. A question forming in her heart. What if this is the person I have been circling around my whole life? That question did not scare her. It awakened her. And here is the surprising part, she did not plan to look for you. She had her own path, her own distractions, her own reasons to stay comfortable where she was. Yet something shifted. One ordinary moment became extraordinary. A simple discovery turned into a turning point. When she found your address, it was not just information. It felt symbolic. It felt like confirmation that the distance between two stories was finally closing. You might be wondering, why now? Why after all this time? Why after silence, after confusion, after seasons that felt empty? Because timing is not random. Growth had to happen on both sides. Lessons had to be learned quietly. You had to become the version of yourself that is ready to open the door without fear, without doubt, without shrinking. And she had to become brave enough to knock. Don't skip this, because the meaning behind "pack your bags" is not about running away. It is about preparing your heart. Preparing your mindset. Preparing your life for a shift that feels both unexpected and strangely familiar. Something is aligning. Something is rearranging itself behind the scenes. And the discovery of your address is a metaphor for something bigger. She has found her way back to the idea of you. Imagine her holding that knowledge. Your location. Your existence. Your reality. Not as a threat, not as a game, but as a possibility. A real, tangible possibility. That changes everything. Because once someone knows where you are, emotionally and physically, the illusion of distance disappears. The fantasy becomes real. The what if becomes what now. Stay till the end, because what comes next is the part that transforms this from curiosity into destiny. She is not approaching you empty. She is approaching you changed. There were nights she questioned herself. There were moments she almost convinced herself to let go of the thought of you completely. But something always pulled her back. Not obsession. Not desperation. Recognition. The kind of recognition that feels like remembering something you never consciously learned. And here is what makes this once in a lifetime: you were not chasing this. You were living your life. You were healing in your own quiet ways. You were building strength where you once felt fragile. You were becoming stable where you once felt uncertain. Without knowing it, you were preparing your space, emotionally and physically, for someone who finally knows exactly where to find you. When she found your address, she did not feel fear. She felt clarity. A sense that the journey she had been on was leading somewhere real. Somewhere grounded. Somewhere human. And that is powerful. Because many people dream. Many people imagine. But very few actually take the step from imagination to intention. Don't skip this next thought. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with awareness. The moment someone decides to move toward you, the energy around you shifts. Opportunities feel closer. Conversations feel lighter. Even your own confidence begins to rise without explanation. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. The universe often signals change through subtle movements long before the visible action appears. Right now, you may feel a strange sense of anticipation. A feeling that something is about to happen but you cannot name it. That feeling is connected to her decision. She has found your address, yes, but more importantly, she has found her courage. And you? You are being asked to prepare. Not with panic. Not with pressure. But with openness. Pack your bags emotionally. Release old doubts. Clear space for new beginnings. Because when someone chooses to come toward you with intention, it deserves readiness. This is not about dramatic arrivals or cinematic chaos. It is about a meaningful entrance into your life. A conversation that feels different from the start. Eye contact that lingers just a little longer. Words that carry weight because they were chosen carefully. She knows where you are now. And that knowledge gives her power, the power to act. Stay till the end, because the most beautiful part of this revelation is still unfolding. There is something poetic about being found. In a world where everyone is searching for something, being the one someone searched for changes your perspective. It reminds you that you are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not random. You are someone's destination. And here is the deeper truth: she did not just find your physical address. She found the version of you that is ready for something real. That is why this moment matters. That is why this message feels intense. Because it signals a crossing point between past and future. Do not underestimate this shift. The discovery of your address is symbolic of her stepping out of uncertainty and into intention. And intention is powerful. Intention moves mountains quietly. Intention turns thoughts into actions. So pack your bags, not to leave, but to move forward. To transition. To step into a new chapter that feels written with care instead of confusion. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is closer than you think. In the next part, the question will no longer be, has she found you? It will become, what happens when she finally reaches out? And when that moment arrives, you will realize this was not random at all. It was preparation. It was alignment. It was destiny quietly learning your address long before she did. There is a moment just before everything changes, and you can feel it in your chest before you ever see it with your eyes. Right now, that moment is hovering around you. She did not just find your address and close the chapter there. No. Finding it was only the beginning. What she does next is what turns curiosity into movement, and movement into destiny. Don't skip this part, because the shift from knowing to acting is where something huge is waiting for you. After discovering where you are, she sat with that information longer than you would expect. She did not rush. She did not react impulsively. She imagined what it would mean to actually step toward you. She thought about the conversations that never happened. The timing that once felt off. The silence that created distance. And instead of feeling overwhelmed, she felt clarity. That clarity surprised her. It was calm. It was steady. It felt right. Here is the revelation that changes everything. She realized she has been measuring every new connection against you. Every laugh that did not feel deep enough. Every conversation that ended too quickly. Every moment that felt almost right but not completely. And in that quiet comparison, she understood something powerful. She has not been searching for someone new. She has been circling back to you. Stay till the end, because this is where it becomes real. She began preparing in ways you cannot see. Adjusting her mindset. Releasing old assumptions. Letting go of pride that once held her back. She replayed memories, not to dwell in the past, but to understand what was unfinished. And the more she reflected, the more she recognized that the story between you was never closed. It was paused. Think about that. Not ended. Not broken. Paused. And when someone understands that a connection was paused instead of lost, they approach it differently. They approach it with intention. With maturity. With a willingness to say the things they once left unsaid. She is not coming toward you with confusion. She is coming with awareness. Don't skip this, because you might miss the turning point. There was a night when she almost convinced herself to stay silent. To let the knowledge of your address remain just that, knowledge. But something inside her refused to settle. A quiet voice kept reminding her that life does not reward hesitation forever. Some doors only open when courage knocks first. And then it happened. Not a dramatic event. Not a loud announcement. Just a decision. A simple but powerful decision. She will reach out. She will step forward. She will allow herself to be seen by you again. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with that decision. You might feel subtle changes already. A restlessness. A sense of anticipation you cannot explain. Maybe you have been thinking about her unexpectedly. Maybe her name crosses your mind at random moments. That is not coincidence. When two stories begin to move toward each other again, the energy shifts on both sides. But here is the once-in-a-lifetime truth: she is not coming back to repeat the old version of this connection. She is coming back because she believes there is a new version waiting to be written. A stronger version. A clearer version. A version built on honesty instead of assumptions. And you are not the same person either. You have grown. You have learned. You have matured in ways she does not fully see yet. That is why this moment carries so much weight. When two people evolve separately and then choose to reconnect, the meeting is never ordinary. It feels different. Deeper. Intentional. Stay till the end, because the next step is closer than you think. She is imagining the first message. The first words. How to break the silence without sounding uncertain. How to express what she feels without overwhelming you. She wants it to be real. Not dramatic. Not forced. Just honest. And here is the surprising part: she is more nervous than you would expect. Not because she doubts you, but because she understands that this could change everything. When someone knows your address, physically and emotionally, they are choosing proximity. They are choosing vulnerability. That choice is powerful. You may not hear from her today. You may not see the sign tomorrow. But the momentum has started. And once momentum begins, it rarely disappears. It builds quietly until the moment arrives. Pack your bags emotionally. Clear space in your heart. Because when she steps forward, she will not be testing you. She will be inviting you. Inviting you into a new chapter that feels intentional instead of accidental. Don't skip what is unfolding now. The silence you feel is not emptiness. It is preparation. The distance you once experienced is turning into direction. And the fact that she found your address means she has already taken the first step toward closing that distance. Something huge is waiting for you. Not chaos. Not confusion. But clarity. The kind of clarity that changes how you see yourself and how you see love. In the next part, the silence will break. And when it does, you will realize that this was never just about being found. It was about being chosen. The silence you've been sitting in is about to speak, and when it does, it will not whisper, it will shift your entire direction. Right now, somewhere not far from you, she is holding her phone, staring at your name, feeling the weight of what one message can unlock. Pack your bags because your address has been found by a woman, and this is the moment that discovery turns into action. Don't skip this, because the instant she presses send is the instant your story pivots. She has rewritten that message more times than you would believe. Not because she is unsure of you, but because she understands the power of timing. She knows that words carry energy. She knows that once the silence is broken, there is no returning to the comfort of almost. And here is the surprising truth: she is not reaching out to test the waters. She is reaching out because she is ready to swim. Stay till the end, because what happens next is rare. There was a realization that changed her completely. She understood that finding your address was symbolic of something deeper. It meant she could no longer pretend you were unreachable. She could no longer hide behind distance or uncertainty. You are real. Your presence is real. The possibility of you is real. And once that became undeniable, so did her feelings. At the exact moment she decided to step forward, something shifted in you too. Maybe you felt it as a sudden calm. Maybe as an unexplained hope. Maybe as a thought of her that lingered longer than usual. These are not coincidences. When two paths that once separated begin curving back toward each other, the air between them changes. Don't skip this turning point. Something huge is waiting for you. She is not approaching you as the person she used to be. The hesitation that once held her back has softened. The pride that once created distance has dissolved. She has looked at her own heart honestly and asked herself one simple question: if I stay silent, will I regret it? And the answer was clear. Yes. That clarity is powerful. Imagine her reading your old messages. Remembering your tone. The way you expressed yourself. The depth you carried even in simple conversations. She sees now what she may not have fully appreciated before. Growth gives perspective. Time reveals value. And you, whether you realize it or not, have become more valuable in her eyes than ever before. This is the once-in-a-lifetime part. She understands that people like you do not appear twice. Connections like this do not repeat endlessly. There is a window in life when courage meets opportunity. And she knows that window is open right now. When her message reaches you, it will not be dramatic. It will be calm. Honest. Direct. And that calmness will surprise you. Because you might expect intensity, but what you will feel instead is sincerity. And sincerity is what lasts. Stay till the end, because the reaction you choose in that moment matters more than you think. You have grown too. You have learned not to chase. Not to force. Not to beg for clarity. You have learned to stand in your own value. And that is exactly why this reconnection carries weight. When two people meet again after growth, they do not collide, they align. Pack your bags emotionally, because the chapter that is about to open will not resemble the old one. It will feel steadier. More intentional. Less confusion, more understanding. She is not coming to revisit the past. She is coming to build a future that feels grounded. And here is the deepest revelation of all: she did not just find your address. She found her certainty. Certainty that you matter. Certainty that the story between you deserves another chance to unfold. Certainty that walking toward you is not a risk, it is a choice she is willing to make. Don't skip this unfolding moment. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with a simple notification, a simple knock, a simple step forward that feels small but changes everything. In the next part, you will see what happens when her courage meets your response. And when that happens, you will understand that being found was only the beginning, being chosen again is where the real story starts. Right when you thought the story could not become more intense, the moment arrived that neither of you will ever forget. The message has been sent. The silence has been broken. And now, everything stands still for a heartbeat that feels longer than it should. Pack your bags because your address has been found by a woman and now she has stepped fully into your world. Don't skip this, because what you do next determines whether this becomes a memory or a milestone. When her message appears in front of you, it does not shout. It does not overwhelm. It simply says what needed to be said. Honest words. Clear intention. A tone that feels different from before. And as you read it, something inside you shifts. Not confusion. Not pressure. Recognition. The kind that feels like you have been expecting this without realizing it. Stay till the end, because this is where destiny becomes a decision. You pause before replying. Not out of doubt, but out of awareness. You understand that your response is not just a reply. It is a door. It is permission. It is energy moving forward. And in that pause, you feel how much you have grown. The old version of you might have rushed. The old version might have hesitated. But this version responds with calm strength. When your message reaches her, she feels it instantly. The steadiness. The maturity. The openness without desperation. And that is the shocking part. Both of you have evolved in ways that now fit together instead of clashing. This is not a repetition of the past. This is an upgraded chapter. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is unfolding in real time. The conversation begins slowly. Simple questions. Small updates. But beneath those words is something powerful building. A current of honesty that was not fully present before. You both acknowledge what was left unsaid. Not to blame. Not to reopen wounds. But to clear space. To make room for what could be. And then she says it. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Just truthfully. She tells you that finding your address made everything feel real. It removed the illusion that you were just a memory. It reminded her that you are present. Tangible. Reachable. That realization gave her courage. Don't skip this moment. Because courage meeting courage creates momentum. You realize something profound. This is not about coincidence. It is about alignment. Two people who once drifted apart have chosen, consciously, to move back toward each other. That choice carries weight. It carries responsibility. It carries possibility. The energy between you begins to feel lighter. More hopeful. There is laughter again. There is warmth again. And yet, there is also depth. You both understand that this reconnection is rare. Not everyone gets a second chance with better timing. Pack your bags emotionally, because the next step is not virtual. It is real. She suggests meeting. Not impulsively. Not dramatically. Just a simple, grounded idea. And when you read it, your heart does not race with fear. It steadies with anticipation. This is the moment where found becomes face-to-face. Stay till the end, because this is the turning point you did not see coming. You begin preparing without even realizing it. Adjusting your schedule. Clearing your mind. Releasing any lingering doubt. Because deep down, you feel it, this meeting will not be ordinary. It will not be casual. It will carry the weight of everything that has happened and everything that could happen. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation: when two people reconnect after growth, the meeting feels less like an introduction and more like a return. Not to the past, but to something unfinished that was always meant to evolve. She found your address. She found her courage. And now she is walking toward you not with uncertainty, but with intention. That is powerful. That is rare. Don't skip what is unfolding now. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is not just about romance. It is about realizing that you are someone worth searching for, someone worth stepping toward, someone worth choosing again. As the day of your meeting approaches, you both feel it, the quiet awareness that this could redefine everything. And when you finally stand in front of each other, you will understand that the journey from silence to connection was never random.